योगी सरकार महिलाओं के लिए प्रॉपर्टी रजिस्ट्रेशन फीस में छूट का दायरा बढ़ाएगी। अब तक 10 लाख रुपए तक की संपत्ति पर मिलने वाला 1% की छूट को बढ़ाकर 1 करोड़ रुपए तक की संपत्ति पर लागू करने की है तैयारी। 15 बड़े शहरों की हाउसिंग बिक्री में जबरदस्त उछाल। प्रॉप इक्विटी की रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक 2024 में हाउसिंग बिक्री करीब 20% बढ़कर 1.53 लाख करोड़ रुपए के पार पहुंच गई। शहरों में अहमदाबाद, सूरत, जयपुर, नागपुर, मोहाली, लखनऊ और गोवा के नाम हैं शामिल। रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर के लिए अच्छी खबर है। 5 साल बाद आरबीआई ने रेपो रेट में करीब 25 बेसिक पॉइंट की कटौती की है। होम लोन की दरें घटने से घर खरीदना होगा आसान। प्रेस्टीज एस्टेट की 30,000 करोड़ रुपए के हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च करने की तैयारी। प्रोजेक्ट में 24,000 करोड़ रुपए की प्री सेल्स की उम्मीद। बेंगलुरु, दिल्ली, एनसीआर, चेन्नई और मुंबई में प्रोजेक्ट्स करेगी शुरू। मुंबई के जेरबा वाडिया रोड में लैंडमार्क डेवलपर्स और शोभा ने खरीदी है जमीन। 423 करोड़ रुपए में 2 एकड़ जमीन की हुई है खरीदारी। प्रीमियम रेसिडेंशियल और कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी बनाई जाएगी। और पंजाब के मोगा में लेमन ट्री का नया होटल खोलने की तैयारी है। की लाइट्स के नाम से FY26 से शुरू होगा 30 कमरों का नया होटल। स्वदेश स्मार्ट शहर में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं डिम्पी कालरा। तो हमेशा की तरह शो को हम अपने लिए थोड़ा खास लेके बना के आपके सामने पेश करते हैं और इस बार भी कुछ ऐसा है। पॉलिसी आ चुकी है, बजट जा चुका है, तो इस शो के अंदर इस बार जो खास रहेगा वो ये कि रिलीजियस टूरिज्म में क्या होगा। आप अपनी तस्वीरें, आप मोबाइल पे तस्वीरें, आप टेलीविज़न पे अपने दोस्तों से बात कर रहे होंगे तो कुंभ की चर्चा हो रही होगी। तो इसलिए हमने पहली बात इसी चीज़ पे उठाई है। तो आज आप जो तस्वीरों में देख पा रहे हैं, मुदस्सर जैदी को हम अपने साथ जोड़ रहे हैं नाइट फ्लाइंग से। रिलीजियस टूरिज्म या फिर टूरिज्म में जो 50 बड़े शहरों का नाम आ रहा है, उन सब का क्या मायने हैं, ये समझने की कोशिश करेंगे। इसके अलावा और भी इम्पॉर्टेंट जानकारी हम आपके सामने रखेंगे। स्क्वायर यार्ड से भी हम अपने मेहमान को जोड़ेंगे ताकि आपको जो द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे या फिर उसके आसपास की जो बड़ी हुई प्रॉपर्टीज़ हैं उसके बारे में थोड़ी जानकारी आपके सामने रख पाएँ। एक चीज़ आज हर जगह छाई हुई है, वो है उत्तर प्रदेश में यानी कि प्रयागराज में होने वाला महाकुंभ। कोई ना कोई किसी न किसी रूप में, किसी न किसी तरीके से उससे कनेक्टेड ही हैं। लेकिन इससे एक चीज़ तो साफ समझ में आती है उन तस्वीरों को देखकर कि भारत में रिलीजियस टूरिज्म बहुत तेज़ी से बढ़ सकता है और ये इसके काफ़ी चांसेस हैं और इससे वो सारी की सारी सिटीज़ खड़ी हो सकती हैं जहाँ पर भविष्य में रिलीजियस टूरिज्म को लेकर बातचीत होगी। बजट के अंदर भी खुद देश के फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने कहा है कि कम से कम हम 50 शहर ऐसे हैं जिनको हम डेवलप करना चाहते हैं टूरिज्म के लिहाज से। मैं शिमला की बात नहीं बोल रहा, मैं गोवा की बात नहीं बोल रहा, मैं ऐसे शहरों की बात बोल रहा हूँ जो अभी डेवलप होंगे। और इसी मुद्दे पर बातचीत करने के लिए मेरे साथ आज नाइट फ्लाइंग के मुदस्सर जैदी साहब जुड़े हैं। जैदी साहब, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू वेरी मच समय देने के लिए। अच्छा लग रहा है आपसे बातचीत करके। मैं सर इसी नोट से शुरू करूँगा। ठीक है, वो अलग है सारी चीज़ें कि आपके वहाँ पे आईटी कंपनीज़ का पैक कितना है या वहाँ पे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैसी होती है, लेकिन एक नया कल्चर और डेवलप हो रहा है, डेट इज़ कॉल्ड रिलीजियस टूरिज्म। वो भी एक शहर की रियल एस्टेट के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस रखता है, क्योंकि अगर कोई इवेंट होता है, साल का एक इवेंट भी होगा ना, तो पूरे शहर में अंदर इंफ्रा का बूस्टिंग करनी पड़ती है। तो मैं जरा आपसे टेक जानना चाहता हूँ कि ऐसे ये इस टूरिज्म वाली जगहों पर पैसा लगाना या इनके बारे में सोचना कितना अच्छा है और कितना सही तरीका है।
निमित जी, आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा। इंडिया में जो रिलीजियस टूरिज्म का जो पोटेंशियल है वो आज जिस लेवल पर हो रहा है उससे मेरे हिसाब से कई 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 गुना है। मतलब उतना जितना हो सकता है उतना अभी तक नहीं किया जा रहा है। मैं खुद कई जगहों पर गया हूं, जैसे लास्ट ईयर से पूरा जो है ये अयोध्या का पूरा जो चल रहा है, जो प्राण प्रतिष्ठा के बाद से काफी ज्यादा वहां पर एक्टिविटी हुई है और काफी फोकस आया है। आज के समय जैसे आपने कहा कि कुंभ चल रहा है तो उस पर फोकस आया है। तो ओवरऑल मैं जो देखता हूँ कि जितना इंटरेस्ट है, जितना पिलग्रिम जो आता है वहां पर अटेंड करने के लिए, उस हिसाब से जितना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए है उतना मेरे हिसाब से अभी तक नहीं है। सरकार की बिल्कुल सही इस डायरेक्शन में फोकस आया है। ऐसा नहीं है कि ये पहले नहीं था, लेकिन अब जितना आ रहा है उतना मतलब उतना आना ज़रूरी भी है और उससे कहीं ज़्यादा की ज़रूरत है। जो रिलीजियस टूरिज्म है, हमारा देश जो है एक मल्टी कम्युनिटी का देश है। यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा जो है हिंदुइज्म के अलावा जो है बुद्धिज्म का भी बहुत बड़ा यहीं पर ही वो है, सेंटर्स हैं सारे। सिखिज्म का यहीं है, जैनिज्म के यहीं है। तो इस तरीके से बहुत है यहाँ पर डेवलप करने को। अयोध्या में कई बार खुद गया हूँ देखने के लिए, जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए है वहाँ पे, वो आज की डेट में गवर्नमेंट उसके ऊपर फोकस ला रही है, करना चाह रही है, लेकिन उसमें अभी वक्त लगेगा, क्योंकि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आते आते उसके अलावा जो और जो सपोर्ट फैसिलिटीज चाहिए हैं, होटल चाहिए है, ट्रैवल का इंतजाम चाहिए है।
Good afternoon, everybody. Raj, welcome to India. So nice to meet you in person. I'll start with a very basic question. The world is changing. It is always changing. And that's what logistics companies always thrive on, to make the maximum of the changing world. Give us a global template. How are supply chains changing? What has changed? What will change? And what should not change?
Very easy question to begin with, Nikunj. Thank you for having me here today. It's great to be in Delhi again. I would just say, firstly, I want to just take a second to talk about FedEx, because there's sometimes not a good understanding what we are about. As a company, we have 700 planes, we have 200,000 vehicles, we have 5,000 facilities, and more than 500,000 people. That's the kinetic system that we run in the globe every single day. The reason I mention it is not because of all the statistics, because I'm incredibly proud of the work that our people do every single day moving the world's high-value supply chain. To put it in perspective, when people talk about supply chain, the first thing when you talk about logistics, you'll see ship containers. That's the picture that you usually see everywhere. To put that in perspective, yes, 99% of the volume of goods that goes on the ship. But that other 1%, it represents 35% of the value of the goods that flow through the system. So we, on every single day, more than 15 to 16 million packages every single day that goes through our system and are continuously in motion, we get a bird's eye view on what's going on the world's high-value supply chain. And so now, yes, the supply chain patterns are changing quite dramatically. And so over the last few years, what we have done, you know, the word supply chain, by the way, 5 years ago before the pandemic, if I had actually mentioned it in this audience, you would have probably escorted me out because nobody really cared. But then in the last 5 years, it has become a boardroom conversation. So we have evolved our mission to make supply chains smarter for everyone. And to do that, we realize that not of all the statistics I said earlier, we also generate petabytes of data every single day about the global supply chain. So now, over the last 5 years, we have built the infrastructure to really digitize FedEx, really build a digital twin of FedEx to see what's going on in the world supply chain. So it is changing quite dramatically. And it's not easy to describe it in any one sentence or whatever, but I think, you know, different centers of manufacturing are showing up around the world. Different intermediate products are being produced and moving through the global system and going to the consumption centers differently. So all that's already happening. To put it in perspective, India represents about 2.8% of global manufacturing today. I certainly feel that there is significant upside. You know, Indian manufacturing could double, and there is, in terms of the mix of global economy. And just, you know, very eventful week this week, and I was so delighted to hear that the talk or the objective of signing an FTA with the United States and to go to a $500 billion trade goal by 2030. I've been saying this for years, that that's a huge potential. To see that now as an official target, I'm very excited about that.
Raj, India has always been a service-driven economy. China always has been a manufacturing-driven economy. Post the pandemic now, the renaissance of manufacturing in India has started. The renaissance moment for Indian manufacturing has started. You said that the manufacturing will double.
I said the manufacturing has got the potential to double. And I think, a lot of my friends who was in manufacturing sector CEOs around the world are looking at India as an opportunity. Now, it's not a given. There's a lot of things have to happen between the vision to execution on the ground level. But I think it can be done. And, we are putting our own infrastructure here in place, for example. India is our fastest growing market in the world right now. We grew more than 50% last year, and we expect to double in the next couple of years. And we just launched a new flight out of Bangalore, for example, and it was full day one. India is such an important market for us that we are sponsoring the Chennai Super Kings. I hope there are some Chennai Super Kings fans here. And so it's going to be, I expect that trend changing, and that more manufacturing comes to India. I hope manufacturing and logistics go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. So, the cost of logistics as a percentage of GDP is actually coming down in India. It's great news, but there's a lot more potential to do that.
I am not a Chennai Super Kings fan. I'm a Mumbai Indian fan. And now you would get a tough question from me.
Well, we'll go to a match together. How about that?
Are you focusing on what will move within India, or focusing on what will move outside India, or what will move into India?
Well, our main focus is connecting India to the world and world to India. One of the things that people misunderstand is what it takes to build a global network. We have spent more than 50 years putting in place a global network, and by which I mean you pick up a package in any one part of the world and get it to any other part of the world in a couple of days. That's what a global network does. People understand when it's a telephone, you can pick up the phone and call anybody. But when you do that on the physical, it's taken our company more than 50 years. That's a moat. Nobody else is going to will be able to do that. So that's what we are focused on. So when I said we opened a flight from Bangalore, the point about that is suddenly Bangalore is connected to the world and the world is connected to Bangalore. And that's the unique advantage that we have, because we already have the network in place and we can just connect any point to the entire globe instantly. So that's what we are focused on, world to India and India to the world.
Could you give the audience perhaps a big picture analysis of what are the 2 or 3 things which you are doing which are distinctly different, so that you're expanding your global moat? Since you use the word moat, tell us about 2 or 3 things which you're doing which is ensuring that your moat is only becoming stronger and more firmer.
Yeah. Well, I think the first and foremost is the physical network that we have built in place. That's is unmatched, and it's going to be impossible for anybody to build it. Just try to imagine getting 1 square inch of space in CDG Airport, and you'll know it's not possible. That's what I'm talking about. We have been there, we've done that. But I think what now, over the last 5 years, what we have done is to create that data platform that essentially is a digital twin of FedEx. And we have gone from being reactive to predictive. I started a company called FedEx DataWorks in 2020. In fact, we are launching DataWorks in India this week. So this now creates another set of supply chain insights that now we are sharing with our customers on a very dynamic and timely manner, like real-time manner, so that they can change their workflow, they can change their processes to make their supply chain smarter. That's why our mission has become to make supply chain smarter for everyone. Smarter for ourselves, smarter for our customers, and smarter for the end consumer. So that's what we are now, our next push is, but the moat that we have built with our physical network, now we are trying to match it with our digital.
Could you give us perhaps an example of how exactly the digital transformation is happening, both in terms of cost, delivery timeline, and also in terms of margins?
Yeah, no, this is I'll make it real for y'all. So one of the things that I believed was that big retailers, for example, in the United States, and actually anywhere in the world, if they work strategically with the logistics companies like FedEx, then they can match up the deliveries that pure play e-tailers can produce. The advantage that the pure play e-tailers have is all the way from order entry to final delivery, it's on one platform, and everything on the data is passed right through. But when you are chopped up, here's a retailer, here's a logistics partner, then that flow is quite choppy. So but if we can combine it strategically, then things get, we can really match up. So that's what we started off back in 2019 and 2020. We went to the top retailers in the country, in America, in the world, really, and we have built common data platforms with these folks, and so that when somebody orders something on their website, that information instantly passes to FedEx. At that point, we are able to optimize our own assets. Imagine that information arriving to us 12 hours before otherwise it would have come, and 12 hours is a lifetime for FedEx. Secondly, we are able to inform them based on the latest in weather conditions, traffic conditions, to say, okay, in order to get that package to the customer by Thursday afternoon, you need to fulfill from this location, and so on and so forth. So there's the intelligence automatically passed back to them, and that helps streamline and makes their supply chain smarter. And then finally, because of the deep learning models, AI, that we have put in place, that we are able to predict the arrival of that package so that when the consumer who is ordering it is able to know precisely when that package is going to arrive. So suddenly, in one fell swoop, in the same system, we have made our supply chain smarter, we made our customer supply chain smarter, and then consumer supply chain smarter.
Raj, how different is India for FedEx? If you compare India with other developed markets, especially with China, how different and difficult it is to do business here?
Well, I have to say, I've been, of course, I grew up in this country, and I've been dreaming about what we could do in India for a long time. But I have never been more excited. In the last 2 or 3 years, under our new leadership, and with our new president, Kami Vishwanathan, and the teams here, we have taken off to another level. And I just see my dream starting to come true here. But it is our #1 growth market in the world today. And I think the potential is immense. So we are, as we talked about, we expanded our flights. We have opened up innovation centers. We invested $10 million with the IITs, my alumni actually. And then we have, started Global Capability Center here. But now we want to expand and start to build a hub in India, going forward. So we are very excited about what this market holds for us, because as I said, we go where high-value manufacturing is going to go, and we see that, and especially with that and potentially an FTA with the United States, the opportunities are quite immense.
We are in 2025, February 2025.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the clock forward and talk about February 2030. So hypothetically, 5 years from now, if we're engaging on the same forum, what do you think we are likely to be discussing? Because today I can smell, I can see, and I can predict optimism in your, in your India commitment. What do you think we're likely to be discussing?
Yeah, I think there are 3 areas where I think we would go forward. I think from our context. One is our core business itself, right? So I do believe that we will be more than double where we are today. I think it's just, I can just feel it. And it's just the energy in this market, what the world is changing. I think we can do that, and we just need to be planning for that kind of growth here. In fact, I'll be talking to my team about this next week. So I think that's what happens. Second is the innovation that's coming out of India. Even in the FedEx world, we are actually doing a lot of things in India that we're building it first in India and scaling it for the other markets. Now, that's new. That didn't happen 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And the architect is sitting right there with Nitin. There's been an unbelievable thing that what we have seen here is that we are building in India on technology, innovating, staying ahead, and then scaling for the rest of the globe. So that I think is going to continue. And then thirdly, I do believe that our global capability centers that we have now created here, in terms of talent that's available in this market, especially as FedEx has moved into the digital space, that in a big way, that plays a huge role. So by 2030, I would say all these factors will be pushed to a whole another level.
Looking at the kind of push which is coming in the Indian infrastructure sector, especially aviation, roads and railways, do you think that India eventually could also act as a global hub for FedEx? For example, right now Dubai is one.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, the infrastructure, the hard infrastructure and soft infrastructure have to fundamentally evolve and change. And I think, we're already seeing, steps taking place. I certainly believe that's an opportunity for FedEx to put a version of a hub right here, in this market as the market grows.
I've always looked at Mumbai Dabbawalas, which I'm sure FedEx is aware of. How do they do it?
How do they do it?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure FedEx will struggle to deliver at that cost even in Mumbai.
Well, actually, I've been the beneficiary of the Dabbawalas in Mumbai, and it's just an incredible operation. And but the idea of when FedEx started moving packages back in the 70s when you opened the business, we were the first ones who invented tracking and tracing. Today you take it for granted. But we needed to figure out where a package was at every single point in time, so we invented a system, and then finally we said, hey, we need to expose that to the customer. So back in 1978, our founder said that the information about a package is as important as the package itself. Today, it sounds okay, but he said that in 1978. So we were, I guess, the original Dabbawalas of the United States. We moved, the innovation and the digital nature of our business and the technology that we started off stood us in good stead. So now when I'm talking about moving into the next level with building our digital twin and building new insights from our global supply chain, I feel very, very excited about that.
So before we wrap, here's a secret. FedEx globally is also responsible. The pause is because it's a secret I'm sharing. Yeah. So FedEx globally is also responsible for moving pandas. You actually do that in China? And what is that interesting cargo you're moving in China, which you'll share with us before we wrap?
Well, yes. So, one of the things in talking about U.S. and China, I'm the chairman of the U.S.-China Business Council. And between the diplomacy between U.S. and China, one of the things is the panda diplomacy. So we're moving pandas from China to the United States and the United States to China. So we are the official FedEx Panda Express. We actually have moved more than 20 pandas, multiple flights, back and forth, and they are beloved animals. If you go to the Washington Zoo, it's just unbelievable what you can see, and it's all over America. And so, yeah, we have moved multiple pandas around the world, and as part of the panda diplomacy.
And what have you moved into India, interestingly?
Well, we could move whatever you want, So we're looking forward to figuring that out. But look, we have more than 45 flights a week out of India. So you can dream something up, we'll do it.
It's a fascinating infrastructure you run. So nice to meet you. And Mumbai Indian is my favorite cricket team.
Go Super Kings.
Thank you very much, Ajman. Let's put our hands together for all.
Thank you so much, Raj and Nikunj, for that very enlightening, insights that we got, and lots of secrets as well.
Secrets as well, but I'd like to be on one of those flights which have all those pandas. Should be a fun flight indeed. But thank you very much. Deep insights into the world of logistics, how it's changing with innovation and technology. Thanks indeed. And of course, another reminder, if you need translation for any of the conversations happening over here, whether it's from English to Hindi or Hindi to English, headsets are available over at that counter, so do use them and do return them as well. Thank you.
Well, we're now going to shift gears to a topic of global significance, that's economic inclusivity. And Vikram, as we all know, as economies are growing, ensuring that prosperity is shared across all sections of society, that remains a very critical challenge. So how can policy, investment and collaboration bridge this divide is the question.
Yes. So to explore this possibility, we are honored to have with us Alvaro S. Pereira. He's the Chief Economist and G20 Finance Deputy at the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development at OECD. And he's going to be in conversation with Hina Gambhir, who's news editor at Times Now, part of our network, and they're going to discuss bridging the economic divide. Welcome them to the stage, both. Thank you very much, Mr. Alvaro and Hina.
Thank you, Vikram. Thank you, Aisha. Welcome to India, Mr. Pereira.
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure being in India because I follow more than 60 countries around the world, and I can honestly say that I don't see